legislation?
Well, sure. We got some very good news this week that our economic growth has been very strong and our revenues are up. And what that shows to me is that the policies of the party that we passed last time, which is to keep our taxes per person as low as possible, our spending per person very, very low, to try to have a good business environment and support capitalism, resulted in having a very, very strong economy that now allows us to have some money to put into roads and water and things of that nature. So that means that we should continue to make sure that we stay a low-tax state, we stay a low-spending state, that we keep the size and scope of government under control. Or in short, another way to say it is we just make sure the legislators follow Republican principles that works. And so that we're going to be working on bills at the legislature that are consistent with the Republican Party platform.
What is the future with the Republican Party right now in Texas in the following years? I do know that you have a deep interest, especially also in the Hispanic outreach, and I want to congratulate you for having David Zapata in the team in the Republican Party of Texas, because he's doing an awesome job. We work very well with him, but can you tell us a little bit more about what's coming up for the Republican Party?
Well, my immediate goal is I'm trying to convince the Republican National Committee to invest in serious outreach. And to me, serious outreach is that they need to spend literally millions of dollars nationwide, perhaps hundreds of thousands here in our state, to hire people who can be permanently in the field in different communities. Until we do that, we're really limited in what we can do by money. And we're doing what we can with having an outreach director. We're doing polling, working with the auxiliaries. But I think it's really going to take a commitment from the National Party to spend some money, and they raise plenty of money, to make sure that it's not just the Hispanic community. We need to be active in the African American community. We need to be active in the Asian American community and get young people. So that's something that is coming up just in the next week. We have meetings with the RNC. I'll tell you that we've been doing some things recently. We just paid for very expensive, extensive polling of the Hispanic community. We now have data that I don't think anybody else has as to, during this last election, what were the issues that were most concerned to the Hispanic community, what percentage of the vote our different candidates have, what the view of the Hispanic community is of the Republican Democratic Party, are they conservative, are they liberal. Now, I don't want to release the results of the poll because we spent so much money, and it would also help the Democrats by knowing this. But I'll just say I thought it was very encouraging, because on issues, and for example, I'll give you a couple tidbits. By 2 to 1, Hispanics in Texas that just voted identify themselves more conservative than liberal. And on most of the issues that the Republican Party stands for, the data show that we're doing very well. But the disconnect was, despite that, the majority of Hispanics still voted for the Democratic Party. So we have the Hispanic community in tune with the party in terms of most of its principles, and yet we're losing the Hispanic vote. So to me, that means we have our work cut out for us on education to get rid of that disconnect. And part of having the ability to educate is you have to be in those communities. And some other groups are sharing professional focus groups with us. So we're taking all this data to figure out the best approach to reach the Hispanic community. But to me, the key is, the National Party has to make a commitment, because they had over 400 employees during the election. They had several hundred million to spend. But as far as I know, there wasn't a single person assigned to Texas to work on outreach. And we have to change that. We have to get the National Party to understand that you can't win national elections if we don't win Texas. And we won't be able to win Texas unless we get a very high percentage of the Hispanic vote. So,
well, I appreciate so much that comment, because I wholeheartedly agree with you. The Republican National Committee actually sent me an email last night about a conference call this morning, an hour conference call. Of course, I couldn't be present at the conference call as I was here at my capital of Texas, but hopefully this is a response about the call that you have done with them, and I wish you the best in your meeting with them, and we look forward to hearing from you, and thank you for your service to the Republican Party of Texas.
I'll just say, serious about outreach, and they have a whole lot more money than we do.
Yes.
So,
Thank you.